Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Shad.
And also we have Layla, who just stepped off. You may have heard some clatter. You want to say hello? No. This week we cover Clive Barker's Nightbreed, 1990.
Who's buried in Midian?
Ain't nothing but dead folk.
Somewhere, hidden from sight, closer than you might think, is a place that's not on any map. Midian.
Something's breeding there.
It looks a lot like hell, but they call it home.
There goes the neighborhood.
They're not pretty. They're not neighborly.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
They're not even human. But this time, they're the good guys. From the imagination of Clive Barker comes Nightbreed.
You can't go down there!
They have only one enemy. A beast called man, sworn to destroy the Nightbreed.
Sounds like we're going head-to-head with the devil himself.
And only one chance. A man.
Boone!
Called Boone.
It's time to fight! Go get 'em, boys! I'll kill you all! What chance have we got? They're armed. So am I.
Out of your deepest fears and your darkest fantasies, Clive Barker brings you a startling new breed of adventure. I won't let you down. Nightbreed. At last, the night has a hero.
Outstanding.
I said that backwards, so I don't want people to be confused in case you've never seen Nightbreed. The movie's not called Nightbreed 1990. It was 1990s Nightbreed. Okay. Directed and written by Clive Barker himself. We saw the regular theatrical version.
Yep.
It's also, right now, we have, Shad owns the fancy Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's a set that had the director's cut and the original one on there.
But it's also on Pluto right now for free.
Okay.
So you can catch it on Pluto if you've never seen it or if you want to revisit this movie for some reason. So if you have joined us within the month of February and you heard our last podcast where we covered The Craft Legacy, I try to say that without rolling my eyes. I announced that, and that was our second serving, by the way. I did not make that announcement. I was our second serving because I went straight into the hate of it.
I covered it on Instagram. Don't worry.
Oh, good. You covered it? Okay, good. So I said I was going to do a movies that I loved and hated, as this is my birthday month. And I chose to go and continue the hate train because I want to end the month on love.
Okay.
So don't cancel me, horror fans, but I am not a fan of Nightbreed. I really do not like this movie. I hadn't seen it in like over 6 years, so I decided to watch it again. It's actually been on our list, Shad's list, I should say, specifically, of movies that he's wanted to watch and cover. So we are covering it now, and Shad is an avid reader, and as you probably already know if you've listened to some of our previous episodes, and he has read the novella Cabal, which is, as we find out later on in the film, no spoilers because I mean the movie's like a jillion years old, so Aaron Boone's Nightbreed name is Cabal.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of insight on the novella.
Well, the novella is a little bit more of the director's version, the way it ends and everything. And, of course, it's a little bit more of Clive Barker's trademark stuff. There's a lot more sexuality. There's a lot more creepiness with Decker. You see Decker a lot more in the novel. He talks to the mask. The mask talks back to him. The mask is telling him things to do. And it's more about, like, what we hide inside, what we don't show to the world. I have a feeling this was written at a time when Clive Barker was still in the closet, because a lot of it is don't show people who you really are. Don't let people see what's inside you. Don't, hide these kind of things inside. Don't let people see the real you.
So I get that in almost all of his films, or I should say novels that have been adapted as films. But in a lot of these, what's inside is a monster. So is he saying that he himself is a monster because he is, like, gay? I don't know. Does he hate himself? I mean, that's just like on a whole other level of like thought, because you could either read too much into it, just take it as it is, or whatever. But I know that he paints. He's also obviously a painter. And there's so much pain. Like, and obviously, he has his things that he's had to work and deal with as a human being, as Clive Barker. So he just releases that through the different medias of art that he does.
Maybe especially back at the times when this was, because all this stuff was written back in the early to mid 80s. Maybe he did think of himself as a monster at the time.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Well,
it could be, because, it's not great now, but it was a whole lot worse back in the 80s.
Oh, well, yeah, especially when they were like, oh, AIDS and HIV was all because, gay people. That was, I remember that from being in school. That was like something that a lot of people thought. I mean, and, but anywho, well, spoiler alert, boys and girls, the true monsters of this film are the humans. Dun, dun, dun.
Pretty specifically in this one, the cops, which is kind of on the nose for today.
The cops, and no offense, because it's in the movie, redneck cops.
Well, they call it sheer neck, which I'm sure is just a Canadian word for redneck.
Sheer neck cops. Yeah, there's just so much things. So we usually will say who's like in the cast. David Cronenberg. That's it. That's the only person you need to know. And David Boreanaz's look-alike, who's playing the lead.
Craig Schaefer is his
Craig
name.
Schaefer, yeah.
And he does look, even like the black leather jacket and everything that he's wearing, he does look a lot like Boreanaz.
It's wild. Like, look, like you made that. You pointed that out, and I was like, wow, that is on the fucking money right there. Danny Elfman did the music, which you can tell 5 seconds into the film when I looked over at Shad and I said, this sounds like Batman. He's like, I think Danny Elfman did this music. And then he did. And then later on, and this is like, I don't know if it's a curse, but you can tell when a composer has composed music, because they have specific notes that they use. They have a certain style, and Danny Elfman's style, that shit has not changed. Like, literally, Beetlejuice is like 1988. Then you have Batman, and then you have this movie 1990. All of the fucking music sounds the same to me. Like, there are parts in, like, towards the middle and the ending of the film where I was like, this is Beetlejuice. Like, I'm getting Beetlejuice vibes right now. And then there were a lot of parts where I'm like, I'm getting Batman vibes.
Yeah, there was some of it that specifically I hadn't really thought about it in a long time, but watching it now, I'm like, oh yeah, it does sound like a little bit of the chase music in Batman.
Yes, I could not take the movie seriously because of the music. All I thought about was, and this is weird because I keep saying Batman, but really thought about was the Penguin running around like laughing and like in his fucking ducky car. So why does Boone... I have so many questions.
All right, let's hear the questions.
Okay, why does Boone dream of Midian? And why the fuck would you want to go there? Like, this is obviously a question for, like, the fans of Nightbreed, because I don't know what it is, why people love this movie so much. I don't get it. I wish I did. I wish someone would tell me. Can you tell me? Why do you love this movie? But you're different because you actually have contact. That's like if I watched like Harry Potter, and I love the fucking movies, and I hate the movies, or I read the book, or vice versa. Obviously, that was a terrible example, but you know what I mean. Like, I read the novels and I saw the movie, so I can pinpoint all the shit that's wrong in all those movies. That's like, that's not the book, or this didn't happen, or this happened this way. You said the director's cut is pretty close to this.
Yeah, the director's cut, there's a lot more stuff from the novel in it. A few things that aren't, but they've had to pad it out a little bit because the story isn't that long in there. Even though it is one of his longer stories in the Books of Blood, it's not long, really. And I don't know, I always liked it because at the time that this came out, I had just read it recently before it came out, and, you know, there wasn't a lot of horror movies like this at the time, where really, you know, the monsters in this movie are the good guys. All the evil, twisted, creepy-looking people that are hiding in the shadows, they're all the good guys. And, you know, like I said, the rednecks are the bad guys. So the people in this one, the norms, are the terrible people that are doing all this stuff. They do way worse shit than any of the monsters. The monsters really didn't do anything in this. They were just living their life. And then David Cronenberg rolled up and called all the rednecks out, and next thing you know, they're all being murdered. So that was something I liked about it, was kind of from the monster's point of view, and it was the first one of those that I really remember seeing.
Okay. What's the connection? Why does Boone keep having these dreams?
It's just one of those, he was always destined to go there.
Okay, so now refresh my memory, because I also erased this film as soon, not this one, this other film I'm going to mention, that I erased it so much I don't actually remember the fucking name of it. The movie that we covered a couple of months ago, the one with the magicians, that's also a Clive Barker story, right?
Yes, Lord of Illusions.
Lord of Illusions, boom. Okay, so this, I have to laugh because I'm like, okay, makes so much sense. That movie is like so close to this movie, in my opinion. This weird cult is hiding, you know, in the fucking catacomb. I call it the catacombs, but they're living in some weird fucking place in like some weird commune. You know, there's the main person they all freaking worship. Like they had the Bahamut in this one, which was like their center. You know, then you have like the outsider that comes in, you know, and fucking revs things up. Like there's a lot of similarities to both of them. My dislike for both are still very strong, but that's also another thing they have in common. Why does... Yeah, who wants to hang out at this place? I'm not dreaming about this place. I'm telling you right now. Like, I'm not dreaming to go there. Everyone is really fucked up looking. I mean, there's like maybe like the little girl, she fine. Even when she's like a naked cat, look like the sleepwalker. Like when they turn into cats, she looked like a little baby one of those.
Hey, man, that's where they got the idea for Sleepwalkers.
Maybe.
And then, hey, Clive Barker's in Sleepwalkers, so...
Wow. Well, there you go. They're
part
fucking
of the universe.
We
right
did
there.
the Kevin Bacon. We did the
6 Degrees of Clive Barker.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Excuse me.
Cronenberg, like, okay, I can't even take him serious because the whole time I'm looking at him. He's wearing the suit. You know, he's all business, and I'm thinking, I'm fucking singing the Ghostbusters theme on my head because he looks so much like
Harold Ramis.
Yes, they have the same hair and like they're wearing the little fucking spectacles, you know. So I have a weird fucking mind. Let me. I would be able to live in the Nightbreed because I'm weird myself, but mentally. That was the other thing. Why Boone wasn't a monster? He wasn't a freaky looking. Why was he given? Because this is like totally no explanation whatsoever. When he gets shot in front of Midian, why does he get like the power to come? Like, why does he become Jesus Christ? Like, why does he become resurrected?
Because he had been bitten by Peliquin, the one you call Dreadneck Head.
Oh yes,
he bit him, and kind of like with vampires, the bite of the Nightbreed passes on. You become one of them, but you don't become exactly. They're not like vampires where when one bites you, you become just exactly like another vampire. These, when the Nightbreed bites you, you turn into your own weird, freaky thing.
Okay.
It could be any kind of thing. But then he became the weird, like, you know, he kind of got the, again, with David, like the David Boreanaz connection. He got a little bit of the face like Angel got when he would turn to the vampire.
Yeah, he got angel face. But also, he looked like the guy from, like, the 90s that decided he was going to get tribal tattoos on his face. He was that guy. He became that guy.
That was something I said, too, is, like, you can tell how old this movie is that one of the freaks of Nightbreed is literally a guy with a shaved head and chest and forearm tattoos. That was his only weird thing that was about that guy, was he had chest tattoos and, like, tattoos on his arms. It was so uncommon back in 1990 that to have, like, multiple tattoos on you and a bald head. They were like, well, he's clearly a freak and one of the Nightbreed.
Also, do you think the dog was dead?
I don't know. He may have just been carrying the puppy. There were kittens around there, too. They all had pets.
Okay, kittens, fine. I can understand, like, hanging out in a graveyard. But dogs need bones to eat. They need to eat. I mean, ew. Are you saying that he's eating, like, the dead people that were already buried in there? Is that what the bones?
I said none of that, so.
Well...
I'm sure there's other things they can feed him.
Okay, I guess, but it's not like they're going to the fucking Trader Joe's, like they're like
you don't know what's
Nightbreed
out there in Canada.
You know, oh, that's right, Canada. They're not going to the Quickie Mart or whatever to like.
Well, there was the old guy who had the store just down the road who had been talking about it for years.
True, and he wanted to become, you know,
he wanted to be one of them. He wanted to live forever.
That's mad. That's really sad because I would be mad. He wasn't accepted. All he was old, and he had, you know, he was a little weird because if you look really close in his like back stock area or whatever, he had Barbie dolls hanging upside down from their feet. So there was obviously something wrong with that old dude.
Yeah, well, he's a taxidermist. There's always something a little wrong with them.
Yeah, well, I guess, but Barbie dolls hanging from their feet, I don't know. That's probably why the Nightbreed didn't want them. They're like, nope, you too fucked up for us. And not saying a lot.
Look, we're messed up, but we're not crazy.
So I feel like they went out of their way in the beginning of the movie to make it known like only monsters could be, you know, be accepted by the Midian. Like you've had to have, I feel like that whole conversation they had, Peliquin and, you know, Moonface, that's why I'm calling him Moonface, had like, if you were innocent, you were food to them. But if you were evil, you could join them. I felt like that was an option. And then that's why Boone wasn't accepted, because he was just he was innocent.
It was that he wasn't any kind of a monster. He hadn't done anything wrong.
So why didn't they kill Decker like 5 seconds after Decker has stepped onto the fucking soil? Why wasn't any of the monsters like killing this fucker?
He didn't really confront any of the monsters until the end of it.
Yeah, okay, I guess. I mean, well, okay, fine. You explained the whole thing with the bite. So I was going to say they went out of their way to save this dude, but fine. So the window when he's gonna be whatchamacallit, embalmed.
Autopsy, when they're doing the autopsy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I absolutely love the Undertaker's assistant that just holds his jacket up with all the bullet holes in it and goes, God damn, they weren't taking any chances, were they? I always love that line, and sadly more relevant now that they're just shooting holes full of people everywhere.
Yeah, it is a sad commentary. It was unnecessary. I feel like that Polk County sheriff that you talk about.
Yeah, that's a little bit what these guys were.
He got that idea from this movie because he shot that guy. First of all, he said, Decker was like, I think he has a gun.
No, he didn't say I think. He said, he's got a gun,
he's got
and then
a gun.
just dove for cover.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that before he even moved, people were shooting, so they were just likely to shoot through Decker, too.
Yeah, they shot him like 35 times. I feel like that's excessive.
Well, like the guy said, they wanted to make sure.
Okay, he's a human being.
They
2 times was going to make it.
They also brought assault rifles to this. When you bring an assault rifle to this party, you're not shooting somebody twice and going on with your life. You're emptying that clip into them.
So there's many different creatures, freaks.
Oh, you were guys going to ask a question, though, about the autopsy.
Oh, yes. The autopsy. So they do the autopsy, and then you see, like, he's getting, his bullets are going away, and he's, coming back to quote-unquote life. And then there's a shot, mind you, right before this, the shot was in the evening. Like, it was nighttime. Then there's a shot of a window. It is, like, the bluest fucking sky I've ever seen. It's probably not even real. It's probably, like, a fucking mural painting or whatever. And then it's a little break of window, like someone just busted their hand through. Did his spirit just fly out of the fucking window?
I feel like that was a studio note that probably in the original one, and I have to remember in the director's cut. I'm not sure if that scene's in there. I'll have to watch it again and see. I feel like that was a note of like probably they just showed him start to rejuvenate, and then the next scene was Decker holding the paper saying, killer's body missing from hospital. And I felt like that's probably one of those things that the studio said, we need to put something in there to show that he escaped. So then they just cut to a random stock shot of a broken window with a sky.
It was really fucking small. I'm talking about, like, was Rick Moranis up in this bitch and fucking made this fucker small? Like, did he fucking go down to, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid size and jumped out the window and, like, flew, like...
Maybe it was a skylight.
Gandalf style off an eagle into the fucking Midian? Like, how did that happen? I have so many questions.
He did take his jacket with him, so... I love the fact they took his jacket, his pants, and his shoes, but not his shirt.
Not his shirt, which is why I said skin face and shirtless leather jacket should have an adventure series. Because that when I saw that next scene where he's just Boreanaz out with no fucking shirt, and then the guy who literally, first of all, I love how they became best friends. Like, skin face became Narcissus.
Yeah.
Became best friends with Cabal, even though they met, like, at the hospital where this motherfucker literally skins himself alive. Right. No, this is not the friend that I want. I don't want some dude that just skinned himself in front of me and talking some mad shit. Like, that is not...
He calmed down a lot when they got to Midian, let's be fair.
Did he, though? Because I feel like he almost ate the girlfriend.
He's like the super stoned guy that like he hasn't had weed in a while, that when you finally get him weed, he's fine. Now, he got to take his face off and get to Midian. He was fine after that.
Yeah, but he was like, he's home now, so he could be the mad freak that he is. He could calm down now. He doesn't have to prove to the world anything.
Yeah.
So, the girlfriend, we're going to call her Holly. I don't know her name.
Lori.
Lori, of course. She looks like a Lori. So, Lori, what the hell, what was wrong with her? Because when they do the interrogation or whatever it is that they're doing to her, they're asking her questions about, I guess, his Aaron Boone's character. They ask her, what is your relationship? And she's like, we're lovers. I'm telling you right now, if that guy was my lover, I'm not fucking driving to, like, buttfuck Egypt into the middle of nowhere where there's nothing but fucking cornfields, a old broke ass fucking cemetery, going investigating by my damn self. No, we're just lovers. We fucked and I'm done with you. You dead now. Bye. Swipe to the next person. Like, I'm going off to the next person. I'm not trying to solve any I am not part of the Scooby-Doo gang. I'm not trying to solve mysteries.
Well, maybe she's saying lover in the sense of, like, long-term relationship.
No, then you just say that's my boyfriend. Or, something. Not, we're lovers. I guess...
She just wanted to sound sophisticated to the police.
I guess. I mean, maybe she was French. I don't know. I mean, yes, I guess in Canada, that would be a thing. We're lovers, right? Because it's kind of like France over there, in a way. Yeah, no, I didn't get that. And then, is there anything else? Like, why didn't he just make them vampires? I feel like Clive Barker was like, you know what? I really want to do a vampire story, but I don't want to really do vampires because that's been overdone.
He has openly said before he does not like vampire stories.
But then he made a vampire story because his monsters literally have attributes from vampires. They can't go out in the sun. They fucking explode. Like... The whole exploding scene was a bit much, but okay. They turn to fucking dust. Brown nipples over here. She freaking turned into a fucking mist. Like, but you don't like vampires, but you want to take their qualities. No, Clive Barker. That's not how that works. And then, the guy got bit. Then he became a freaking monster.
Well, I think this is his way of, like, twisting the vampire myth to fit his own requirements.
I guess if fucking Stephanie Myers could make a fucking vampire glittery, I mean, have at it. Obviously he did this way before she did, but...
Yeah, he just wanted to put his own twist on everything.
I guess. I guess. ... So, it's Boone's fault. we didn't give any synopsis of this movie, so you have no idea. No one has any idea if you've never seen it. We're just talking about the movie like everyone in the world has already seen this movie. You want to give like a quick synopsis?
So in case you haven't seen the movie, the main character, Aaron Boone, is being treated by a psychiatrist, which is David Cronenberg, who, Dr. Decker, who, by the way, has the coolest mask ever.
Yeah, his mask is pretty dope.
But Decker calls Boone in one day and says, look, all these things you've been talking about, where you've been talking about killing people and, whole families, I thought they were just fantasies or delusions you were having. But the police brought me some pictures, and it turns out you've actually been doing all this. You've been killing all these people, and you didn't remember it. So I'm going to give you till tomorrow to turn yourself into the cops. Here's some medicine. Take these pills. They'll make you feel better. He, of course, does not give him medicine because it only takes about 2 seconds to figure out. First of all, it's David Cronenberg. He's the evil guy. So he's the one that's been killing everyone that's just trying to pin it on Boone. And instead of giving him lithium to calm him down, he gave him LSD. So he's on a bad trip, gets hit by a car.
It was a fucking truck.
Yeah.
It was like a semi-truck. How is he alive?
Well, it's Canada. They're very nice drivers.
He's
there.
like the fucking cat with like 9 lives.
So he ends up in the hospital. That's where he meets the one you call Skin Face, Narcisse, who's telling him all about, he's been having these dreams of, like we said before, he's been having dreams about Midian for a while. And that's where Skin Face meets him and says, well, yeah, of course Midian's real. I'm planning to go there myself. We should go together. And he goes to Midian, and that's where, of course, the thing with Decker where he gets shot, comes back to life. And there's a lot cut out that we don't really see. Like, we don't really see where he goes back to Midian, meets them and all that. We just kind of come into it later, and he's, already learned all the laws of Midian and, joining the tribe. I feel like that was the part we really needed to see in the theatrical cut. And, from there on, it's your pretty standard monster movie. David Cronenberg can't let it go because he figures out he's alive, and he's just going to keep going.
But he knows he's not alive, which irks me. And then there is that weird scene where we see like his very like 90s style home where there's like 2 tanks on the side with like bubbles. I don't know what the fuck that was.
That's just David Cronenberg's house, I'm sure.
That's his real house. With like, it looked like Stefan like Gamel's artwork on the walls. Weird fucking artwork. And he's listening to the tape.
It was all faces. Because Decker's all about your faces. That's why all the masks and everything were all over the walls of his office.
Then he's like listening to him about Boone, listening to Boone's tape of like him talking about Midian and how like he's gonna be there, he's gonna live forever. Like, wouldn't you like to live forever? He has like a temper tantrum, and then he like throws the freaking recorder across the room. He's super mad. What is his problem? Like, he does have like a very short monologue on how like he's gonna take care of like kill like all the scum, and like the scum are having more scum, like these people are having children and they're all disgusting and low and like whatever. The first family he killed, it was a loving fucking family, like they were mad loving. The mom and dad were all cute and cuddly, their mom was all super nice to her son.
Well, maybe he's one of those crazy people that thinks the best way to calm everything down is to just, thin the herd a little bit and kill everyone.
No, and then, like, he's a psychiatrist. Hello, look in the fucking mirror, guy. You're fucking insane. Like, what is your problem?
He did look in the mirror, and it was his mask talking to him.
Exactly. He was insane. So he had, which that goes back, and I know that's a very Batman thing, because Scarecrow
was a psychiatrist. And he also had, like, Decker's mask is kind of Scarecrow-esque. I kind of have a feeling that's where Christopher Nolan got the idea for that mask, because in the book, in the comics before this, Scarecrow's mask was always literally just like a burlap bag that he wore.
Yeah.
It got a little creepier in the Nolan movies, and I kind of feel like he probably took a little bit of that from Decker. Yeah,
the mask is pretty awesome. But yeah, it is like, I would say it's very scary.
Yeah.
I would not. I feel so bad for like other families, but like why do you want to destroy these people in Midian? They didn't do anything to you. Like, leave them alone. You're off killing, like, normal families.
But if he feels like that normal people with kids are really perverse and disgusting, he needs to kill them, think what he must think of these weirdos in Midian.
I think he was just mad because they didn't have to hide their face. They were just being themselves. They were out and proud, and he couldn't be out and proud in his fucking scary ass looking mask because, hello, like, he was a killer. No one wanted to see his true face because he didn't even want to see his true face. He had to put a fucking mask on. David Cronenberg is not that unattractive. I mean, I'm not saying he's the best fucking looking guy. He is weird looking, but it's not like...
It's just because he's 7 feet tall and weighs 100 pounds.
It's not like he's like mad disgusting and he has that fabulous hair. Like, how could you be mad when you have such fabulous fucking hair?
He was mad, though.
Then he's, he's killing everybody. And let me tell you, I understand the roughneck cops, whatever they were called, sheer neck, fine. I understand you're not the best cops, but like the detective, like, and like the fancy fucking cops, they couldn't put together like, every time we step on the scene, it's Decker calling us saying, hey, there's another fucking body. Why is Decker around every time there is fucking, we need to get Bones on this. Like, if David Boreanaz and this fucking what's her face was in this, they would have fucking solved the case. Because
that's probably why the first thing he did when the cops got out to Midian was the first thing he did was kill the detective from Montreal, who was probably starting to get a little wise to things. First thing he did was kill the only guy there that had any sense. That's
true. He did slice his throat, which was really sad. But then I didn't feel sad. I don't feel sad for the freaks of this movie. I don't feel sad for the freaking rough sheer necks. I'm not sad for the detective. I'm not sad for anybody. I have no sympathies for whatsoever because there's like barely any character development. We don't really get to know, like, what is this Bahamut thing, like, in the middle of, what is that? It's like a fucking, is it a tree? Is it a demon? Is it whatever? And then you told me Midian is a real place in the Bible, so now Clive Barker's all up in the Bible, even though he went out of his way, or whomever wrote the screenplay, quote unquote, because he just threw that bomb.
Yeah, there's some things going around about that, but I'm not sure. I gotta do research on that.
Whomever wrote it goes and says when Boone when he tells the priest, we don't like your kind around here, or whatever.
Well, because the one scene earlier was the implication that during the Inquisition the priests were killing the Nightbreed.
Yeah, which, I mean, that makes sense. The Inquisition, they were killing everybody. Like, that was, like, their thing.
So, of course, they're not going to be fond of priests.
The whole, like, Terminator-esque scene where everyone is just getting murdered and there's, like, talking heads and, like, skulls everywhere. What? Okay. I guess, I mean, like, they're showing us, like, what they did back in the day, which is why they had to go underground. It's so fucked up. Every story, these fairies, trolls, like unicorns, every fucking Nightbreed, everyone has to go somewhere hidden, and that's a big thing in Clive Barker's, like, world. He's always building another world within our world, and I would just love to ask him about that. I'm sure many people have interviewed him. I just have never gone out of my way to, like, look further into that, because Hellraiser, obviously, hello. You have that hell and all that stuff, which, purgatory and all that, different levels and, whatever, divine comedy bullshit. And then you have this Nightbreed. Then you have my favorite novel, which I don't know why the hell no one has made this into something. Make it into a TV series. Hello.
They've been talking about it for years.
Do it. HBO. Do it. Not Showtime. It'll be too sexy.
Netflix.
Somebody with the monies. Weave World. I fucking love Weave World. That's something I want to see. That's freaking amazing. Like, I would love to see that. That's like one of my favorite all-time top books. Like, if I were to go on an island, I would want that. I remember TMI. I remember literally being in the bathroom. I could not let go of this book. I had the book with me at all time, like, just reading it. Just devoured that novel because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like like you said, with the Nightbreed, where there's not a lot of character development, this one I think would work a lot better too as like a 10-episode Netflix series. if you had like the first episodes kind of establishing, Boone and showing what was going on, and then he really doesn't get to Midian until like the second episode, and just show more of what's going on with everyone, get into wherever people's, background a little bit more. That's why I said this would be a perfect like 10 episode Netflix show.
Now, my other question to you is, what do you think was the thought behind when they were like, you know what, let's make all these different kind of monsters, and someone was like, you know what's scary? Big heads. There's a lot of big heads in this movie. There's all kinds of big heads. There's moon heads. There's elephant man heads. Like, what kind of... There were so many of them. Like, what is up with that? And why are we always putting down, like, oversized, naked men that look like... It was like a live Jabba the Hutt, like, man in the thing. Like, that's really creepy to people. I don't know. These... They needed to be underground because they're not getting Section 8. No one wants them to live anywhere.
Yeah, there's some interesting creatures in here. I think the big head is because it's an easy appliance to make. You don't have to form fit that to someone's face. You can just put the mask on and just do makeup around their neck area, where none of those people are really talking a lot. So, except for Moonface talks a lot. By the way, his name is Kinski.
Kinski, okay. Moonface is Kinski, okay. Narcissus, what was his name again?
You said it. It's fine.
Narcissi. That when when they're gonna go and they're fighting, Decker, and he's like, I only want his balls. What the fuck was that about? What did he do to him? Because we don't know. Do they show that in the director's cut? What he did to him behind closed doors? It must have been some really fucked up shit, Decker, what he did to him, because...
Well, he carried the mask in with him, first of all. So he brought the mask and knives in. And then he was dead. So he obviously tortured him to death behind closed doors.
Yeah, and then that's, the detective was like, that's kind of weird. Especially when he went out of his way to say, no one could be in there with me. I have to have privacy. Okay, question mark. That's kind of weird. Now he comes out, he's bullier than he was before, and he's dead.
Well, maybe he told him, hey, he grabbed the knife away from me.
Yeah, every time there's an issue, the other guy did it. It wasn't me. I was just there. That's fine. So we come to, Revelation. What? Decker's a savior? It was written within the fucking...
Not Decker, Boone.
I'm sorry, Boone. I'm sorry, I stole my Decker thing. Boone was a savior, and, amongst the walls, Egyptian style, the hieroglyphics of his fucking coming and like what's gonna happen, how he becomes Cabal, and what he didn't do anything for them. He ruined their fucking house and they became homeless. Now they living in a barn. Like,
well, to be fair, the barn looked nicer than the place they were living.
That's just because it had hay, and the other place.
It's the same place from Roadhouse where what's his name lived.
It was $100 a month.
Yep. They'll make that easy.
He didn't save anybody. And then, is that how the novel ends? And then there's no other fucking follow-up to that? Because at the end of the theatrical, Hairless Priest, and freaking Decker are going to take their revenge.
Well, there was a comic series that followed up the night after, that picked up after the movie, that went on for nearly 2 years.
Wow, really? Okay.
And eventually it crossed over with Rawhead Rex. There was a lot of creepiness that went on in that series. It's been a long time. I read that back when it came out, but it's been forever now. Because the comic series lasted way longer than the movie. It went on into 92 or so.
Yeah, the opening of the film, well, maybe it wasn't the opening, but the dream, it was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell? I the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, why are...
Everyone's doing flips through the air?
Yeah, they're doing flips, and everyone... Okay, fine. It's fine, everyone looks weird, okay, but everyone's doing flips. I feel like there's a very carnival-esque feeling to it. Like, they're trying to, lure me into, this amazing amusement park. You don't have to lure me into an amusement park. There's cotton candy and fucking candied apples and a fucking roller coaster. I'm fucking there, bitch. I don't even care if that looks like a roller coaster hasn't been ridden in 10 years. I'm gonna fucking ride it. I'm gonna do it. You don't have to lure me with your creepiness in there. I was already gonna go in. Is this cemetery an actual cemetery? Or was this a set?
It was a set.
Damn, well, that's sad. That would have been cool if it was real.
Yeah, it was all a set. It was a
also very disrespectful if it was real. They were filming on, the catacombs.
Yeah, the faraway shots were all matte paintings, and then close up was just a set.
Okay. All right. It's not my favorite movie. I don't hate it as much as The Craft Legacy or any other film I've given negative knives to. I'm going to give this one a knife and a half.
It's got cool creature effects in it.
I'll give two knives. I have nothing to say about the creature effects. I mean, they all look good. Decker's mask makes it. The scenes where I would be more interested on seeing more of Decker. Like, I don't really care about Midian or Boone. Like, they could just go away. Can we just have a Decker movie? Because he's far more interesting and a complex character than these other people. Like, let them live their life, their best life, dancing, in the fucking darkness, doing what they do. What's up with Decker? Like, yeah, there's just so much going on there. And mind you, fine, we may have seen that movie and we may have actually had, unfortunately, real events, of terrible serial killers like him. But to get that type of like intelligence and like the study of the brain and then lose your own mind and decide that you're righteous and that you're gonna do this based on what you believe, which obviously is like the Inquisition and any war or whatever has happened in the history. Someone thinks this is the right thing and I'm gonna stick by it and I'm right by doing it, and then therefore nothing but terrible things happen. That's, yeah. And then also I just want to see more of the mask. I don't want to see him. They called him like the child. They called Boom, which was actually Decker. What was it? The Child Slayer or?
Yeah, Child Skinner or something like that.
Yeah, Child Skinner. Oh, no. That I don't want to see. I don't want to see any kids get hurt. Actually, there might be a part of me that actually really just dislikes the movie as a whole because that family was so beautiful. I mean, they weren't beautiful looking. The mom and the dad, they were just normal people, but they're just a little family, They weren't doing anything wrong. They
should have locked the doors.
They should have lock your doors. I don't care where you live. Lock them doors. So annoying. Even what was more annoying was when she saw the door was open. Oh, the door is ajar. She didn't say that. I'm just ad-libbing. Oh, the door's ajar. Then she walks up she looks, oh, there's nothing. And then she closes the door and walks away. She didn't even fucking lock it. I'm like, what was the whole point of locking? You should have just left the fucking shit open. You didn't even lock it afterwards. You just closed it.
There's also good advice. Listen to your kids when they tell you there's a bad man in the house, because chances are there's a bad man in the house.
And he's just standing there crying. Oh, God, it's just too much. My heartstrings, I was already devastated at the first 5 seconds. Actually, 20 seconds into the film, I'm like, this is sad. And then that was the only part where the film had me, was that just one scene. Everything else was just like, I'm thinking about fucking the Penguin. I'm thinking about Batman. I'm thinking about Beetlejuice. I'm thinking about Ghostbusters. I'm thinking about all these other things besides the movie. Well, is there anything you would like to add to the Nightbreed episode?
No, I think during my birthday month, though, we're going to have to watch the director's cut now. Yeah, you got nothing to say about that, do you?
No, no.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe, maybe not.
This was 2 hours and 5 minutes of my life that I'm not getting back. And technically, this isn't the first time I've seen the film. I think this is probably the second or the third time I've seen the film. But when I see films I really don't like, I try to erase them because I need to make, I don't have time. My brain is not made up to memorize all these movies. I just get the junk out. Delete, recycled bin, bye. I do not want to watch this movie ever again. No, I'm done. I'm good. I maybe want to read the comics if there's a continuing story, because that means that I get to see more of what Decker's doing. Now, Decker is a true monster all around. I mean, he was already a fucking monster all around, but now it's like, what's his power? Can he get killed by fire? Or, we don't know. That's... Yeah, I'm just throwing out there into the world.
I'm sure they got into it in the comic, but like I said, I don't really remember what it was.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued to see. I mean, we live in a day and age where I could just look it up, but I don't want to take the easy way out. I want to find out exactly. Maybe I'll have time to visit. There's probably a lot of them. You said it went on for 2 years?
Yeah, it's like 25 of them.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of them. Well, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. And you know what? I didn't hate on it a lot. I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I didn't put too much hate. So there you go. No, thank you so much for joining us. And stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.